America's only true sports car. European road racing had proved that a true sports car is a very specialized vehicle.
Die der Porsche 911 in dieser Beziehung bietet. Wenn die Autobahn mal nicht voll ist, dann sind Geschwindigkeiten um die 200 richtig.
Yes, the 1963 Corvette Stingray.
Modernen serienmäßigen Stabilisatoren.
A level of response never before seen in a production sports car.
Porsche 911, Chevrolet Corvette. They're soul brothers, these two, survivors. They've weathered oil crises and recessions, defied government bureaucrats and boardroom bunglers, and fought each other for sports car glory on the road and on the racetrack. Each is a true sports car icon. And like many icons, each is trapped by its history. There's still no substitute for cubic inches in a Corvette, and the Grand Sport rumbles to the tune of a small block V8 with push rods, just like it did in the 1960s. And the Carrera S still stubbornly relies on a precision-engineered flat six slung out behind the rear axle, just like every 911 since 1963. They've faced off many times over the past 48 years, these two, and this time the matchup is closer than ever. They're both about the same size and have about the same weight-to-power ratio. So we know that out in the real world, no one's going to cross-shop these two cars. Like Yankees fans and Met fans, there are 911 guys and there are Corvette guys. That's the way it is, and that's the way it's always going to be. But what we want to find out is which of these soul brothers delivers the enthusiast driver the most rewarding and engaging driving experience. In other words, the winner of this head-to-head will be the best sports car of the two, period. So, let's hit the road. Let this clash of the icons begin. The C6 Corvette is now more than 6 years old, but the 2012 Grand Sport version offers outstanding bang for the buck in the best Corvette tradition. It's basically a regular steel frame Vette with the 436 horsepower 6.2 litre V8 under the hood, but the Grand Sport badge means you get a tasty combination of Z51 performance parts, like springs and closer ratios in the 6-speed manual, as well as Z06 goodies like brakes, roll bars, wide tyres and bodywork. This manual Grand Sport also gets the dry sump oiling system from the Z06 and ZR1 engines, which means it's hand-assembled by the same guys who build the ultra-high-performance Vette motors in Wixom, Michigan. From the inside, the Corvette looks and feels like a car from another century compared with the Porsche 911. There's way more road shock transmitted through the suspension, and you can hear the body flexing over the bumps. The shifter is slow and deliberate, the sat-nav crude and clumsy, and the seats, though better, still feel like you're sitting on them rather than in them. But this Corvette can still thrill even around town. At slow speeds, that big V8 rumbles like distant thunder on the prairie. And then there's this. The 2012 Porsche Carrera S might look familiar, but it's the most radically changed 911 since the water-cooled 996. The base 911 gets a new 350 horsepower 3.4 litre flat six. This Carrera S has a revised 3.8 litre engine that delivers 400 horsepower. So far, so 911. But it's not until you get up close and personal with this new one that you see how changed it really is. It's bigger, 2 inches longer overall, making it more than an inch longer than the Corvette. And the wheelbase has been stretched a massive 4 inches. Now, here's the clever part. The engine and the driver are basically in the same place as in the old 911, but the rear axle has effectively been moved back 2.8 inches and the front axle moved forward 1.2 inches. The result?
Less weight over the rear axle and, hopefully, less of a white-knuckle ride as you tip the car into a fast corner.
The ride is firm as you'd expect in a 911, but there's much less tyre noise in the new car, which is a good thing. There is one noise you do want to hear in a sports car though, and that's the engine. And the new Porsche 911 doesn't disappoint. Listen to this.
There was a time when driving a sports car around town was more often than not a chore, as you wrestled with a highly strung engine, hair-trigger clutch, and rock-hard ride. Now both these cars are about as temperamental as a Toyota around town. My choice would be the Porsche, though you could easily drive either one on the daily commute. But where's the fun in that? Let's head for some roads where we can give these things a proper workout.
Well, this is a bit like wrestling a grizzly bear. The Corvette feels a bit slow and deliberate at first, but it's very, very powerful, and I know if I make a mistake, it's going to rip my head off. It doesn't have the delicacy and fluency of the 911's controls, but nail the gas, any gear, any time, and that big V8 digs deep into the torque curve and grunts away. Now that's exactly what you'd expect of an engine born and bred in Detroit. But what you don't expect is its willingness to rev to the red line with damn near the smoothness and efficiency of an expensive multi-cam, multi-valve engine from Europe. The chassis is well balanced to a point. It has a tendency to snap sideways when driven hard, a trait amplified by the steering that sends the nose of the car diving to the apex of the corner the moment you pull the wheel off center. Like a 911, this is a car that demands respect when driven hard. Actually, I should say, like an old 911. Wow, what an engine. Absolutely razor-sharp throttle response and linear power delivery that just keeps on going. And anyone who says they'd still prefer a stick over the PDK simply isn't serious about driving fast. It's incredibly quick. It doesn't have the busyness in the steering that old 911s have. You used to feel the steering wheel moving around in your hands. I think that's a function of the new electric power steering. And I can hear the purists complaining that Porsche's taken away some of the character of the old 911. But I got to tell you, it works just fine. Entering a fast corner in a 911's always been a bit of a high wire act. The lightly loaded front end wants to push wide, and that engine behind you wants to take over like a brick on a string and bring the tail right around. This new chassis though is fabulous, very stable, very predictable. This is the best 911 ever. Chevy Corvette Grand Sport and Porsche 911 Carrera S. They might be born from different cultures, but they're bound by a common attitude. They've arrived in the 21st century leaner, fitter, faster than their creators could ever have imagined. But which of these two is the best sports car? Drive the Corvette hard and it feels like you're physically attacking the blacktop, while a 911 flows down the road like quicksilver. The Corvette is all shock and awe. The 911, a surgical strike. It matches the Chevy's performance with less power and is more effortless, more composed on almost any road you care to throw it at. It's the better sports car at any price. Well, possibly until the new C7 arrives in 2013. And if there's a head-to-head that you'd like to see, let us know in the comments and we'll do our best to make it happen. Thanks for watching.